San Jose Teliarana.
Good day, Hoseans! How are you? I am Ma'am Cheryl Anton, your Mathinic Grade 7 teacher. Join me in exploring and learning together the world of statistics. Every day, we are exposed to statistics, from weather predictions, election advertisements, surveys, report cards, and the like. Further, statistics shape our lives and also influences our personal decisions. Our lesson focuses on the measures of central tendency of group data. We will learn how to compute for the mean, median, and mode. This is very helpful in research. You will be encountering one soon. Let's go! Before we are going to start on this lesson, let us have this activity. Identify what is described in the following statements. You are given 5 seconds to answer. First question. It is the sum of the data divided by the number of data. If your answer is mean, you are correct. Second question. It is the number which occurred most frequently in the distribution. If your answer is mode, you are right. Third question. It is a pictorial representation of the relationship between two or more variables. It's graph or chart. Great! These are just some of the basic concepts of statistics we learned earlier. Let's go and continue exploring the world of statistics. The mean, median, and mode are three measures that are commonly used to describe the center of a data set. They try to summarize a data set with a single number to represent a typical data point from the data set. Mean is the average number, found by adding all data points and dividing by the number of data points. Median is the middle number, found by ordering all data points and picking out the one in the middle. Or if there are two middle numbers, we take the mean of those two numbers. Mode is the most frequent number. That is, the number that occurs the highest number of times. These are the basic definitions of the three measures of central tendency. We have learned how to find the mean, median, and mode of ungrouped data. Now, we will proceed to finding the mean, median, and mode of grouped data. Group data are data which have been arranged in a frequency distribution table. The formula in finding the mean is equal to the summation of frequency times the class mark over the total frequency, where x bar is the mean, x sub m is the class mark, x is the measurement or score, n is the total frequency, and f is the frequency. Let us take this example. Here is a frequency distribution of scores of 15 randomly picked students in a mathematics class. We are going to compute for the mean. But first, let us complete the table. Given the class intervals and the frequency, we compute for the class mark, denoted by x sub m. And then we also compute for f times x sub m. How are we going to get the class mark? We get the mean of the class interval. In the first row, add 20 and 24. That is 44 divided by 2 equals 22. We are going to do the same process until we reach the last class interval. So, we have 25 plus 29 divided by 2 equals 27. 30 plus 34 divided by 2 equals 32. 35 plus 39 divided by 2 equals 37. And 40 plus 44 divided by 2 equals 42. Again, to solve for x sub m, we get the mean of the class intervals. Let's now complete the column of f times x sub m. This means that we get the product of the frequency and the class mark, x sub m. This is simply 2 times 22 equals 44. 4 times 27 equals 108. 6 times 32 equals 192. 2 times 37 equals 74. And 1 times 42 equals 42. Our table is now nearly complete. Our last step is to find the total frequency and the summation of f times x sub m. The total frequency is 15. The summation of f times x sub m is 460. Then we use the formula in getting the mean. We substitute the given values to the formula, then perform the operations. We have x bar equals 460 over 15, which is equal to 30.67. Therefore, the mean is 30.67. For consistency, we will use 2 decimal places. So, do not forget to round off your answers in 2 decimal places. Median. The median is that point on the scale of measurement that divides a series of rank observations into halves, such that the half of the observations fall above it and the others fall below it. In calculating the median of group data, the middle value is not known as the data is divided into class intervals. Let us learn more on how to calculate the median of group data. Let us solve a few examples to understand this concept better. One of the simplest methods of finding the median of group data is by using the formula. Median is equal to x sub LB plus I times the quantity n over 2 minus less than CF all over f sub m, where x tilde is the median. X sub LB is the lower class boundary of the median class. N is the total frequency. Less than CF is the less than cumulative frequency above the median class. I is the size of the class interval. F sub m is the frequency of the median class. Let us apply this formula. Using the data from the previous example, a column for the cumulative frequency was added, We get less than CF by getting the first frequency, then adding to the next frequency. The process goes on until it will reach the total frequency. In this table, 2 is our first frequency. Then we add to the next frequency. That is 2 plus 4 equals 6. Then 6 plus 6 equals 12 until we reach the total frequency. We also get the size of the class interval denoted by I. Subtract the lower boundary in the 2 consecutive classes. That is 25 minus 20 equals 5. This should also be equal to the difference of any consecutive lower boundaries. There are 4 steps in solving for the median of a group data. Let's go into this. Step 1. Determine the median class. To do this, locate the cumulative frequency which is greater than or equal to n over 2 and note down its corresponding median class. N over 2 equals 15 over 2, or that is 7.5 or 8. You may round it off to a whole number. We look at the column of cumulative frequency. Let's choose the number which is equal or greater than 8. What number is it? If your answer is 12, you are correct. Step 2. Determine the lower class boundary of the median class. In getting the lower class boundary, we get the lower value of the median class under the class interval column. Then, subtract 0.5. X sub LB now is equal to 30 minus 0.5 is equal to 29.5. Step 3. Determine the other values needed to solve the median. Frequency of the median class, or F sub M, is 6. Less than cumulative frequency above the median class is also 6. Size of the class interval, denoted by I, is 5. Step 4. Substitute all the values in the formula. We have X tilde equals 29.5 plus 5 times the quantity 15 over 2 minus 6 all over 6. We simplify first what is inside the parentheses and apply the PEMDAS rule. Therefore, the mean is 30.75. It is the middlemost score in the dataset. Mode. The mode is a value that occurs the maximum number of times in the given dataset. In other words, it is the maximum number of repeated values in the given dataset. Here is the formula in getting the mode of a grouped data. Mode is equal to X sub LB plus I times the quantity D sub 1 over D sub 1 plus D sub 2, where X caret is the mode. X sub LB is the lower class boundary of the modal class. D sub 1 is the difference between the frequency in the modal class and the frequency in the preceding class interval or above it. D sub 2 is the difference between the frequency in the modal class and the frequency in the succeeding class interval or below it. I is the size of the class interval. Let's have an example still from the previous data table. There are again 4 steps in solving the mode. Step 1. Determine the modal class. It is the class with the highest frequency. In the table, 6 is the highest frequency. Then the modal class is the class with interval 30 to 34. It so happened that the median class is the same as the modal class, but it is not always the case. There are some frequency tables that the modal class is different from the median class. Step 2. Determine the lower class boundary of the modal class. That is, x sub LB equals 30 minus 0.5 is equal to 29.5. Step 3. Determine the other values needed to solve the mode. The frequency of the modal class is 6. The frequency above the modal class is 4. The frequency below the modal class is 2. We have D sub 1 is equal to 6 minus 4 equals 2. D sub 2 is equal to 6 minus 2 equals 4. Step 4. Substitute all the values in the formula. So we have x caret equals 29.5 plus 5 times the quantity 6 minus 4 all over 6 minus 4 plus 6 minus 2. Therefore, the mode is 31.16. This means that the interval 30 to 34 has the most frequent data in the dataset. Always remember to use PEMDAS rule in these kinds of solutions. Let's try. Determine what concept is being represented by the following formula. You are given 3 seconds to answer. Number 1. If your answer is mode, you are correct. Number 2. If your answer is mean, you are right. Number 3. It's the median. That is great. In summary, mean is also called the average, calculated by adding all the product of the frequency and the class mark, then dividing it by the total number of frequencies. Median of a group data is data that is arranged ascending order and is written in a continuous manner. The data is in the form of a frequency distribution table that divides the higher level of data from the lower level of data. The mode is the most repeated value among the given set of data. Among the given set of observations, mode is the value which has the maximum frequency. I hope you grasped all the concepts in today's episode. This is Ma'am Cheryl saying, mathematics may not teach us how to add love or minus hate, but it gives us every reason to hope that every problem has a solution. Bye!
Sa